Good morning. Good morning. We have a very special speaker going on. I'm gonna preach later, but first we're gonna have a very special young man. He's been coming to our church for quite some time now, and he's been excelling. He's been excelling in his just his teaching of the word. He teaches our Friday night men's group. His name, well, he's the man, the myth, the legend, Brett Lizotte.
Thank you. All right, let's do this. All right, most of you guys know me, but for those of you who don't, I got a little icebreaker, don't worry. My name is Brett, and my favorite person in the Bible not named Jesus is Jonah. So, like Jonah, when he was asked to go to Nineveh, when I was asked to do this sermonette, I was like, heck no, I'm out. But I know, like Jonah eventually learned, that saying no to God is kind of like saying no to your wife, especially my wife. It's never going to end well for you. So I set out to write a sermonette. I wrote several of them, actually, but every time I wrote one, Rebecca or Dustin or Lenny would preach about it that Sunday. I was so mad. I was like, stop stealing my messages, as if it's my message, you know? Praying on it, I realized I wasn't writing a message that God wanted me to say to you guys. I was writing messages that I needed to hear. That's selfish. That's not wise. And it's not what a leader would do. So I prayed to God again, not for myself, but I said, God, what do you want me to say to these people? And God said to me back, he said, finally, finally. There's someone else in the Bible who prayed this same prayer. His name is Solomon. Go read about Solomon. And you know what? I found out that I really relate a lot to Solomon, not because I'm so wise, or because of my downfall, but because Solomon answered a question that I've had for a very long time. A question that Ariana and I have had a lot of, let's just call them spirited discussions about. That question was, why did God make us if all he wanted was robots? Or in other words, and also the title of my sermonette today, what's the point? We really, and at least in my Sunday school growing up, didn't learn a lot about Solomon. Hi, Dario. We learned he prayed to God for wisdom to serve his subjects, and God's response to that serves as the basis for many of our other Sunday school lessons. God said in 1 Kings 3:10 through 14, it was pleasing in the sight of the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. God said to him, because you have asked this thing and not asked for yourself long life, nor have you asked for riches for yourself, nor have you asked for the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself discernment to understand justice, behold, I have done according to your words. Behold, I have given you a wise and discerning heart, so that there have been none like you before you, nor shall one like you arise after you. I have also given you what you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there will not be any among the kings like you in all your days. Here's the kicker. If you walk in my ways, keeping my statutes and commandment as your father David walked, then I will prolong your days. God is overjoyed at Solomon's request. God gives Solomon not just wisdom, but riches, peace, and greatness. But of course, that's not the end of the story. Solomon strayed from the Lord. He started worshiping other gods. Israel fell to ruin. Why? Because Solomon was of two minds. James 1, 5 through 8 says, but if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But he must ask in faith without any doubting. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For that man ought not to expect that he will receive anything from the Lord, being a double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways. God's gift of wisdom was a supernatural gift from God that Solomon misused because he lacked faith. He directly contradicted God's commandment in Deuteronomy 17:16. He married Pharaoh's daughter along with 700 foreign wives. Because Solomon was of two worlds, he brought ruin to Israel with the gift he was given. This doesn't make the gift itself bad. As James 1:17 says, every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shifting shadow. God doesn't give imperfect gifts. We, like Solomon, are imperfect people, and we misuse them. God gives us these gifts so that he may be glorified through us. Yet time and time again, in real life and in the Bible, we see people taking what was meant to be a testimony to God and a way to advance his message, a way to grow his kingdom, and removing God from that gift to their great ruin. On Wednesdays in 1 Samuel, we see the Israelites forgetting the true purpose of the ark and having it captured by the Philistines. Samson attributes his great strength to his hair, causing his death. Solomon gives in to his foreign wives, and Israel is torn asunder. These examples all have something in common. They all deal with supernatural feats, extraordinary items and individuals whose influence has reverberated throughout time. And they must be so, because they illustrate the magnitude of God's power. But there is another gift, a gift given to every single one of us, a gift that gives solace to those that are racked by melancholy, boredom, depression, and ennui, a gift that Solomon, beset by all of those in his later years, reveals to us. Ecclesiastes 1:2 says, "Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity." I don't like to mix translations in my readings, and so far everything we've read has been from the NASB. But I'd like to reread this verse in the NIV to let it really sink in. Ecclesiastes 1:2 in the NIV says, "Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless." Ouch, right? Solomon starts Ecclesiastes with a bang, declaring that everything is meaningless. Everything is pointless. And I'm sure many of us have felt that way before. I know I have. All of Solomon's wisdom, his 700 wives and 300 concubines, his vast wealth and power, couldn't stop him from feeling the same things we feel today. Beaten down, tired, run down, exasperated, feeling like nothing matters, that everything that we have, everything we've done, and everything we've said is pointless. Pointless because we're all going to die. Pointless because we can't add or take away anything from the world. Ecclesiastes 3:14 says, "I know that everything God does will remain forever. There is nothing to add to it, and there is nothing to take from it, for God has so worked that men should fear him." If we can't add anything or take anything away from the world, then what's the point of doing anything at all? We work, we grow old, we die. All while pondering the very nature of an eternity that we can never begin to comprehend. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where's the point here? Where's the gift? You promised me these things, and then you got all depressing on me. I know, I'm sorry. So here it is. The point of all of this, our life and our work, is we do it because God told us to. Genesis 3:17 through 19. Then to Adam he said, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten from the tree about which I commanded you, saying you shall not eat from it, cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall grow for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you will eat the bread, till you return to the ground, because from it you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Because the penalty of sin is death, but in life we toil on an earth that fights back. Still kind of depressing, right? Sorry. So what you might be thinking what I'm saying to you is that the point of life is to work for no reason at all as a punishment. And that doesn't sound very good, and that doesn't make me feel any better. Yes, that's the point. The point is to work on this earth because God told us to, but not as a punishment. Romans 8:18 through 22. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the anxious longing of the creation awaits eagerly for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subject to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself also will be set free from its slavery to corruption into the freedom of the glory of the children of God. Quick side note, the futility listed in that verse, the translation from it, is the same word used for meaningless in Ecclesiastes. So we do what we do, live, work, and suffer because of the glory that came to this world through Christ Jesus. Because through this labor and obedience to God's commandments, we are set free from the corruption of this world. And therein lies God's gift, the gift that I said all of us have. In this life, though what we do may seem pointless sometimes, God has given us something spectacular, the ability to enjoy it. Ecclesiastes 3:12 through 13. I know that there is nothing better for them than to rejoice and to do good in one's lifetime. Moreover, that every man who eats and drinks sees good in all his labors. It is the gift of God. That is God's gift to us. The ability to enjoy our work in this life, even as we await the redemption coming to us in the next. We have received a perfect gift from God, and we must use this gift. We must eat, drink, and be merry, because through this gift, we glorify God. We glorify him just as much as Samson, just as much as Solomon, just as much as Peter, just as much as Paul. Every day we obey God's commandment to work this earth and use our gift to rejoice in this struggle, we get one day closer to the redemption from the bondage we have been subjected to, and that is truly amazing. Thank you.